Hello everyone, hope you're doing well. I thought I'd do a video talking about all the little pieces of news that have been going on in War Thunder over the last few days. There's been a bunch of different stuff. We have some events announced, we have a bunch of camos, we have some esports news, and then also the changelogs for the fixes from the major updates. So let's go through it all, let's see what's going on, and as always, if you enjoy the content, make sure to subscribe and also like the video. Let's get started. So the first piece of news is about the esports stuff, and the reason why we're talking about this is because it affects Twitch drops, you know, the free stuff that you can get for watching. So basically, the esports stuff had their qualifying stage for their Espiroti tournament of 2025, and the other part of it was kind of supposed to start this weekend, so therefore it would be the kind of major playoffs or whatever you want to class it as, and this would mean it would come along with some free stuff in the form of Twitch drops. But they put out a statement a few days ago saying, "Dear players and viewers, due to unforeseen technical reasons, we need to postpone our upcoming WTCS Espiroti 2025 playoffs by 1 week, so on October the 4th and 5th, and October the 11th and 12th. We truly appreciate your patience and support. Thank you for understanding. We look forward to delivering an exciting event on the new dates. The War Thunder esports team." And yeah, so if you haven't been following the esports stuff, basically there's been a bunch of problems with the actual tournament setup itself. No idea if it's the servers or if it's something else, but something just hasn't been working on with it, so I'm guessing they're trying to actually get it fixed. So they've postponed the whole event by a week, so there won't be any esports Twitch drops this weekend. Maybe there will be next weekend, and if there is, I'll let you know about it. They did add some camos to the files, which would indicate there were going to be the esports Twitch drops, but who knows? Anything could happen. Nothing yet has been announced. The next Pages of History has been announced, and it's a Canadian one. It's the One-Eyed Ghost. Leo Major is coming into the game, and his profile picture actually got added a little bit ago, along with all of the Canada other stuff that they did. You know, the kind of Canada Military Day where they had a bunch of sales, and then they obviously did the Moments of Valor, which was really cool. Leo Major got added kind of alongside, and people are like, well, where is he? Well, turns out he's going to be the Page of History for October. Leo Major is the only Canadian to receive the Distinguished Conduct Medal for service in multiple wars. He participated in the Normandy landings and lost his left eye in the Battle of Caen, but insisted on remaining in the line of duty. During the Battle of Scheldt, he single-handedly captured 93 German soldiers. Major received his first Distinguished Conduct Medal in 1945 for single-handedly liberating the Dutch city of Zwolle. His overnight actions forced German forces to retreat, prompting the Allies to cancel a planned artillery bombardment on the city. He also received his second medal 6 years later for capturing strategic hills in the Korean War. So it's really cool to see Leo Major in the Pages of History. It's set up exactly the same as all the other ones, so you have a bunch of little events every few days over the month of October that if you complete, you will get access to him. You have the Battle of Scheldt, the Battle of Vella la Vella, the Aurshire Offensive, the Gumbinum Operation, Battle of Leyte, the Second Battle of El Alamein, and also the Battle of Henderson Field and the Budapest Operation. So all Second World War Pages of History, so this one's should be quite interesting and also pretty much available to everybody. It would be quite good to do these alongside grinding the M55 and also grinding out the new event vehicle. There was also all of the camos added for the Tusk Force trophy, and therefore for the update, 40 new user camos this time. And what's kind of cool about this one is there are 2 camos this time for helicopters and 3 camos for ships. Usually there's only 1 of each, but that shows how much of a prevalence this area has. Also, 15 camouflages for aircraft and also 20 for ground vehicles, which shouldn't be too surprising. And some of these look absolutely beautiful, so check them out on the marketplace. and also check them out in other areas. Talking about things that you can buy, which obviously these camos are it, there was also another post that was on the forums about Gaijin offering a crazy discount in China in a promotion. Basically, there is a website, Chow Bei, or Little Black Box, I think it's called, and it's kind of having a partnership with War Thunder where they are doing a sale with Chinese vehicles, and they're all available at a 50% discount. Then, additionally, each player can participate in a raffle where you can get up to 95% off a specific vehicle, which is just absolutely crazy. So a lot of people have actually ended up getting way higher discounts than 50%. Now, whether this is available to the international community, I'm sure it isn't, and also obviously details about it are pretty limited since this is only available in the Chinese community. But yeah, it's just kind of crazy. People are saying that this is an apology for what happened with the Chinese community like a month ago. To me, when it comes to this type of thing, this is just more of kind of like a structured promotion thing. They've done it a bunch with different Chinese outlets to try and get people to buy War Thunder stuff. So I would highly doubt this is what, is being talked about. We'll have to see what statements Gaijin makes in terms of that, because they did promise some interesting stuff at the end of this month. So hopefully we'll see it. And then we have some changelogs. Now, a lot of these changelogs are just little updates. To be honest, there hasn't been any massive game-breaking bugs in this update. So far, what I've seen is a bunch of frame issues for people, and I'm guessing hopefully those get fixed. I had a few frame issues on the first day, but apart from that, it's generally been pretty smooth sailing for me. The only thing is my lighting just seems dark, and I don't know how to fix it, so that's a bit of an issue. But we have update 2.49.0.23. This was the one that came out on the 24th of September, and we have the RAM. There was a bug that caused the targeting pod to display in the X-ray, and that's been fixed. The boomerangs, the planes, the cockpit lighting has been adjusted, and the Key 109, they actually added a belt with a new 75mm Type 1 APAG shell, which has been added with the release of the Tusk Force major update. So this was something that was on the kind of notes that I just didn't really cover, because it's just another one of those weird donkey vehicles which they're trying to make work. For some reason, there's somebody at Gaijin who really likes the Key 109. They've put it down in BR a bunch of times. They've tried to make it work as best as they can, and now it's time to even buff it even more to try and get it to work. So you have two APHEs now. You have one which pens up to 83mm and it has 460 grams of explosive mass, and then you have another one which pens 113mm and has 104 grams of explosive mass, or TNT equivalent. So basically this thing will be able to donk enemies just like it could before, but it's the problem with the Key 109 is everything else. The gun was never the issue. It's literally the platform is one of the worst in the game. So it's straight up just like stuff like the Duck, where it just doesn't work very well. But at least it'll be a bit more effective now. The Key 100-2, the engine characteristics at different altitudes have been adjusted, and the power distribution curve across altitudes has been smoothed, so the wing polars have been recalculated, and handling has been improved for all control types, which is quite cool. The T90M was also in this changelog, but we talked about that. Basically, they removed the APU module because they're going to wait until they add the mechanics and then add it back in. Don't really know why. It would be much better just to have it on the module to kind of show people where it is, but I suppose if they want to add them all at the same time, hopefully they'll do it in the next major update. Then for naval, there was a bug where player actions would desynchronize after turning in the torpedo sight, causing the player's ship to jerk and the player to be kicked out of the session. Oh, well that's bad. Luckily that's been fixed. For locations and missions, Korsun, Kuban, Kursk, Ladoga, and also Mozdok, there was a bug where the fighter-class aircraft could not spawn in these missions, whereas interceptors, air defense fighters, and other classes still could. So that's been fixed. So literally you would go into a battle and you just could not play. Fantastic. For the interface, there was a bug where radar target markers on aircraft could extend beyond the radar indicator, so that's been fixed. And also, there was a bug where VSync would not work on Xbox, causing screen tearing, and that's been fixed too. I don't know if I can't remember the last time I ran the game without VSync. It just makes the game just look so much more smoother in terms of, you know, instead of having to match FPS to the hertz value of your monitor, it's just so much nicer to do. So then we had another update which came out yesterday. This was update 2.49.0.27, and we start off with aircraft once again, with the F-15E again. The Ram had the issue with the X-ray and the targeting pod. The E also had this issue, so therefore they have fixed it. Also, for the Hunter F-58 for Germany, there was a bug that caused the FLZ LWFLB-82's missile seeker sight to have a decreased zoom in view, and that has been fixed. I've heard someone was saying that they nerfed those missiles, but I didn't say anything about that, so no idea where that is. And then also the Milan. There was a bug that caused a part of the fuselage near the engine to become transparent, and that's been fixed too. For ground vehicles, the tech tree changes that previously announced with the battle rating changes have been made, and now for China, the T-3485 Gai folder has been moved from rank 4 to 3, and the M36 ISU 122 folder has also been moved to rank 3 from rank 4. And for USSR, the Object 268 has been grouped with the 12254. What BR changes? Oh no, sorry, the tech tree changes they're talking about, fair enough. So now they've just kind of push them all in. It's kind of weird how they waited this long to do it. I wonder why that was the case, but at least it's done now. There was also a bug that caused the overpressure damage to no longer apply for open-top vehicles in some cases, so kind of negating the overpressure. For the Tamsam Kai, there was a bug that prevented the selected missile type to automatically switch to the next one when the missile of the first type was expended. So that's been fixed, so now it should work a bit better. I use the Tamsam Kai, and generally it's fine. It just doesn't have the range of the other ones, so you still get donked by Su-34s. There was also a bug that caused the survivability skill to not be taken into account in the hit analysis, and that's been fixed too, so that's a nice change. For locations and missions, Malta and defending Stalingrad, there was a bug where the fighter class couldn't spawn again, so they fixed that once again. That's a huge issue, but luckily they fixed it. And also Afghanistan, they fixed another part of it, which I saw a lot of videos of this. Basically, the air spawn altitude has been increased so that aircraft don't spawn facing the mountain. So you know how they kind of like expanded air spawns at high tiers of the game? So with Afghanistan, you would literally spawn into a battle and your plane would ram into a mountain. So you literally couldn't do anything about it. You just bonked the mountain. So it's good that they've fixed that. And also the other thing is, obviously with the test drive and all the blow-up panel stuff that was happening the last few days, Gaijin, obviously, people found an inconsistency where the Leopard 2 tanks and the test drive have APFSDS, and the Abrams tanks had heat, and people were basically testing it and being like, why are the two different vehicles having two different oddities going on? Well, now they say AI-controlled Abrams tanks and test drives now have APFSDS shells loaded in the racks, instead of heat, for the sake of being consistent with the damage of the AI-controlled Leopard 2 tank, with the ammo in the rear of the turret is destroyed. Heat shells can explode when damaged, and if there are enough of them in the rack, the explosion will be powerful enough to penetrate a bulkhead and destroy the tank, despite the presence of blowout panels, while APFSDS shells, on the other hand, can only catch fire, and the tank can survive the ammunition burnout, as long as the bulkhead between the rack and the fighting compartment is not penetrated. So they're very much made sure to try and, make this as obvious as possible for people, which is good, because previously they didn't, and that led to confusion and also aggression, which is no good. One of the things that would be nice if it was labeled is how many rounds do you have to take or not take of kind of chemical munitions to not blow up. But c'est la vie. I suppose we could probably work that out through data mines. When it comes to the interface, there was a bug where the radar target markers on ground vehicles could extend beyond the radar indicator. That would actually be busted as all hell. There was also a bug that caused the messages about vehicles hit or destructions and warning messages to overlap the cursor in third-person view when the compass was enabled, and that's been fixed as well. There was a bug that caused the horizontal speed setting in the helicopter battle settings to affect all aircraft, and that's been fixed, and a bug that made it impossible to collapse the active order information block in battle when in spectator mode has been fixed too. And a bug that caused the buttons with long control hints to move on top of the radar display on the aircraft has been fixed too. So just basically making sure that everything's in the right place. There was also a problem with MFDs and cockpits, which would flicker, obviously no good. And for sound, they've actually changed a few things again when it comes to it. The sound man has been very, very busy this update and added a bunch of new sounds. And let's just say my sounds are very much unbalanced at the moment, so I need to kind of fix it. The 9K317M Book M3, there was a bug that caused all of the game sounds to disappear for a few seconds after the missile was launched. Well, that's unfortunate. That's been fixed. And also a bug that caused the sound of the tank ammunition burnout to fade out too quickly with distance has been fixed too. So you're going to hear stuff a little bit better. And also, for customization, there was a bug that made it impossible to place the AFV 601 crewman helmet decoration on any vehicle. And that's been fixed. What a weird bug in order to have. So that's all of the changelogs. That's all the news the last few days. If there's anything else, I'll make sure to let you know. Look after yourselves. Peace be with you. I'll see you next time. I'd just like to thank GMG Smiley, CD Beans, Chieftain Mike, EMN3 Galaxy, Tulio Pontecorvo, Brendan Quinn, Carrion Crow, Gus Irenicus, Pyman, Wartinder, Teddy, Daniel Stanton, Martinez, B. Young, Ozzy Panzer, Alan Hacker, Liam Shear, Opium Prime, Lafouche, Sem, Aslan, Uncle Bean, and Derek R. for supporting the channel.